Novex Dance presents.
Mm.
Because there are different issues with dance education. One is that uh, how do you institutionalize arts education? Uh, because institutionalizing an art form and how to educate with it is a different method, and
Yes.
it requires different kind of a pedagogy, uh, which is not the same as in the Guru Shishya Parampara, as we say, which is the tradition of the kind of relationship I was talking about between the teacher and the student. And that is a completely different educational pedagogy, totally different. In there, first of all, the most important thing is that there is no clock, so you cannot look at how much time have I spent with you.
Right. Oh,
So your work is done only when you think what you can achieve has been achieved for that day. Whether
mm.
it takes 1 hour or it takes 5 hours or it takes 14 hours, it
Mm.
does not matter. So the traditional gurus would never look at the clock. In fact, there was no clock in the room. Okay,
Mm.
so that is a very different approach than what we have in universities, because here we are by the second. A three
Yes.
hour class is a 3 hour class. Like beyond that, even if you keep them for a minute, it's blasphemy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So true.
So that is just one example of how different it is when you institutionalize arts education. What is the answer to that? I don't know. I mean, I'm not an arts policy maker or a university education strategist. So I don't know. I don't have any answers in terms of what exactly we can do to educate students in the US or even in India now, because everything has become so competitive,
Yes.
and there is so much emphasis on getting on stage as soon as possible, on
Yeah.
being a performer, because what the traditional gurus used to do is that they would create artists. There's a difference between being an artist and being a performer.
Mm.
You can create a performer by teaching skills to students, but to be an artist, you cannot stop with the skill. There is a nurturing of the individual that happens on the individual level, because
Yes.
it recognizes, that pedagogy recognizes that you and I are different people, and we have different bodies, we have different minds, we have different backgrounds from which we come, we have different abilities to absorb the knowledge that is given to us, uh, and what looks good on my body might not look good on someone else, and vice versa.
Oh, I
So
have chills.
the
Yeah,
traditional
me too.
gurus were able to really understand the student through and through. And this takes time,
Yes.
which is what we don't have or we are not willing to give, you see. So what is the solution? I don't know. I am just articulating the issues that I see in the way dance is sometimes taught these days. How does this dancer look really? Because we didn't want to take anything from the conventional Bharatanatyam costume that is usually worn these days, with the, that you've seen that there's a jewelry, and then there are flowers, and there are jewelry. There's a particular way in which the hair is tied. Then
Right.
there is the silk costume with the sari like thing going across the waist, and then there is the pajama type of costume with the fan in front. Okay, that's the modern Bharatanatyam look. We wanted to do something different from that. So Mayadi looked at my body and she said, "Don't wear this." So first of all, we decided what not to do. Okay, and that is anyway. I won't talk about the other that part of it. But so this was one aspect of recreating it, and then the music we had to because we are dancing in front of an entirely new kind of audience. Yeah, we are presenting the work in mostly the United States, and who knows where it will go from here. But we did not use as much text as it is as used in traditional Bharatanatyam concert. You'll see a lot of text being sung, a lot of poetry is being sung and interpreted by the dance. We used more instrumental and more percussion, because in that way we are like modern dancers, you know.
Right.
So we are really letting the body speak, letting the body explain what we are trying to do, instead of the word trying to tell us and then we interpreting it through movement. And then the way, and in for example, in Bharatanatyam, what happens is that if I'm showing an elephant, yeah, so I'll show the ear of the elephant, and then I show the trunk of the elephant. So if I'm showing the elephant is very light, yeah. You're showing that the elephant is, but the way Mayadi's imagination works, because she choreographs this now, she says the elephant is not a light creature. Yeah, it's a heavy creature. So how do you show the heaviness of the elephant? So in order to do that, I can't just show the elephant. I have to be the elephant.
Right.
I have to become the elephant. I have to embody. So this idea of embodiment is there with every character that is danced. Yeah. So this is just one small example of how this repertory is different than a traditional Bharatanatyam repertory. Exactly. So we are not touching the traditional repertory. I love dancing the traditional Margam, as we call it, which is what I explained earlier, which was codified in the Tanjavur court in the early 19th century. And that is such a it's like eating comfort food, you know. Like once in a while you need the comfort food. You need the nurturing comfort food.
I love that.
But as an artist, you know, every artist wants to go beyond what they have, where they have found themselves.
We call that saying no to the box.
Okay.
So that you're explaining our say no to the box concept. So continue.
Okay, wonderful. So I think that this yearning to go beyond oneself, this is not to assert who I am. Okay, this is not to assert my identity as a woman or this or that. No. This is in fact, how does the art, how can it become a medium so myself can be displaced and I can become a vessel for that muse to visit me and for that energy to flow through me. And I think every artist at some point on their journey feels this yearning to go beyond the frontier of what one can see, of what are the possibilities with one's own, whatever knowledge you have acquired and the skills that you have developed. And I think in doing that is a process where the role of the guru or the mentor is very important. At least in my case, it was so that I couldn't see my own potential. I couldn't be objective enough to understand what I was capable of doing until Mayadi pushed me. She literally pushed me out of my comfort zone. And she said, you know, you are capable of doing much more than what you're doing or what you think you can do. And let me show you. And she really challenged me. And I must confess, it was not easy, but that is the role of an artist.
Thanks for taking your time to tune into Dance Behind the Screen, a bi-monthly interview series where we go behind the screen to question process, product, and social media. Be sure to follow us on social media at KNOW Box Dance. See you next time, and don't forget to say no to the box.